What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Bucks on Deck podcast episode. I'm Anthony Murphy. With me, as always, Nola Jeffy. Nola, what's going on, man?
Just another day in paradise, watching some Altoona Curve baseball at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, that area got beat up by rain pretty bad, so a little bit of a delay. So at least we still got some baseball going on. I got the athletics game going too to see if any more soda bombs goes off to help the fantasy team.
Soderstrom has been going berserk this year.
Yes, I'm doing like 6, maybe 7 fantasy leagues this year, and I think I have him in like 5 of them. So I just need him to keep it up.
Good call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely didn't draft him. I definitely added him after the fact, which also speaks to probably the first baseman that I did draft. Probably weren't very good because I ditched him pretty quickly. But anyways, back with you another episode. This may be the last episode. We should be good next week. I'll be in Bradenton next week, but the place that I'm staying at the same place that I stayed last year, and the internet was pretty good because we ended up doing an episode while I was down there too, anyways. And I did like my NS9 show and all that stuff with them.
Yeah.
So we should be good for next week. But I'll be in Bradenton down there. Florida Complex League starts this weekend coming up. Obviously, check out the Marauders as well. So for this week's episode, since the Florida Complex League is getting underway, we're going to do a little bit of a preview, go over some players that we're interested in, that we're monitoring, that we're looking forward to taking a look. And then we're going to talk about some Bradenton players that are off to a good start. There's one guy that Nola mentioned in our 10 observations piece that we kind of wanted to talk about a little bit more. And obviously a couple of the notable hitters down there. But first up, tackle the Complex League team. Last year, they made the championship, lost to the Detroit Tigers, I believe it was. Won't have the same some of the same players they have. There'll be some guys repeating, some new guys coming up from the Dominican, some draft picks from the previous year, a couple prep guys. Judging off the initial roster, there'll be some college hitters that are going to start there as well. But I figure we'll go ahead and start with some of the pitchers. Nola, who's maybe a guy or two that you're kind of watching, looking for on the pitching side for the Complex team?
Well, I'll leave the one guy for you because I know you're probably his number one cheerleader right now. But I guess the list more or less to begin the FCL season is going to be just seeing how guys are returning from injury because it's going to be a lot of rehabbers or guys just kind of getting going. So like I guess I don't know necessarily where they're at in terms of their progress of rehabbing, but obviously Dominic Parachi will be throwing. He'll be interested to see where he's at. It'll be fun to see Ronaldo Gallo, who was an undrafted free agent signing after I believe it was the 2023 draft out of Miami University. I don't think we've even gotten a look at him at all.
No, he hasn't pitched. He hasn't pitched in the system since signing.
Yeah. And then, draft picks, obviously, Levi Sterling, get first looks at him. And the good thing, too, about FCL is we can get up to the minute, generally presuming that the screen is properly set, I guess. Get data on him from the get-go, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I got a little sneak peek at some of the data for like Levi Sterling while I was down at Pirate City, where he was pitching. I was kind of posted up next to one of the Pirates guys who had a laptop going. So some of the stuff looks super intriguing. Obviously, we know the velocity isn't too much right now, but like obviously there's plenty of room for projection and to fill out and stuff like that. I think he maxed out at like 94 in the game. He hit like 94 once, but was really 89, 90, 91 most of the time. But there's a lot of I think it was coming from like a 5.8, 5.9 release point, and it was getting plenty of induced break too. I think he threw a couple 20 plus with the induced vertical break on it. Breaking stuff could be a little bit sharper through a couple good changeups. Yeah, usual stuff for a young kid, and he's going to be real young. Yeah, he's probably the guy that pitching side that I'm probably most excited to see, at least since like Matoma's like in Bradenton now. But another guy too, he's going to be new, coming from the Dominican last year. Reno Navarro. He's going to be 18. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's listed height-wise, I believe, at like 6'4" or something like that. Maybe a little bit shorter. A good size. He was a all-star for the Dominican in the Dominican Summer League last year. Baseball America actually did like a superlative for like best of whatever, and he was actually given like the best fastball there. Is saying that it was like getting up to 94 with like up to like 20 inches of induced break to it. Struck out 37 batters in 24 innings last year. Did walk a lot, so that'll be something to kind of monitor with it. But just another guy that, Pirates love their outlier fastball, and he looks like he's going to have a pretty good fastball, and he's a lefty, so that should translate well in the lower levels. We'll just kind of see what he does throwing strike-wise.
Yeah, and then I guess we were kind of talking pre-show just out of pure intrigue. I think he's also got slowed down by injuries or whatever. But if Danny Carrion's healthy,
yeah,
we'll kind of touch on one of the players a little later on with regards to the same aspect. But I'd be curious to see if he potentially added some velocity, just because he's someone that, at least from like Stuff Plus models, like the shape and everything on his fastball is ridiculous, but he tops out at 88. So
yeah,
if he could add, 92, 93 with like the shape and everything he has, extension, everything like that fastball would be lethal.
Yeah. He was getting 7.5 feet worth of extension last year with Bradenton. I think he was averaging probably close to up to 20 inches of induced break on it. I think it was from like a higher arm slot, but yeah, I think that would be super intriguing. Like you said, we'll touch on another play a little bit later.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, he had something like a 118 Stuff Plus on the fastball or something.
Yeah. I think it graded out as like the best fastball in the Florida State League, like by Stuff Plus models. So,
but set like 86, 88.
Yeah. I think it averaged 88, like right under 89 on there. So, and I mean, we've already seen one pitcher down in Florida kind of get a nice little velocity bump. So maybe he's another guy on there. But
maybe,
yeah. A couple guys who, I mean, I guess more velocity is never a bad thing, but it's not like these guys are in search of it. But we might get our first look at someone like Gavin Adams, who's like the 8th round pick last year for the Pirates out of Florida State. Didn't pitch because of Tommy John. Not sure where he's at in his recovery on there, but he's a guy who reportedly hit triple digits as well. It'd be good to see him on the mound. Carlos Mateo also hit triple digits before, but he has 65 walks and 35 innings the last 2 years. So that's definitely going to need to come down. And then another guy.
There's something about the Pirates and pitchers with the last name Mateo.
Yeah. And they all have good stuff, and they all don't. None of them throw strikes. And the last one I kind of wanted to bring up was Dioris Martinez. He'll be 8. He's still just 18. He had a 1.26 ERA last year. Didn't pitch much. Again, another high velocity, good stuff, bad control kind of thing. So a lot of the stuff you're just kind of hoping on them taking the right step forward. They have the stuff. Let's just kind of see if they can learn to control. And they're all young. Like I said, Martinez doesn't turn 19 till June. Mateo's 19 all year. Navarro will be 18 all season. Levi Sterling was one of the youngest players in the draft last year. He won't turn 19 till I think the end of the season. So young staff there. I think that could also lead to some rough outings but like I'm sure you'll see like the stuff in between that. Yeah.
Well, I guess then moving on to hitters, we're gonna see some repeats, handful of draft picks. I know one that we kind of got onto last year, and Richard Ramirez, obviously going to be excited to see him, see where the contact is at. Lot of pop. Love the defense and the arm, but we want to see some more contact, obviously, out of him.
Yep.
Which Edward Florentino is coming stateside. That's going to be huge.
I can't wait. That is probably the one player that I'm most looking forward to seeing in like actual games. I saw him some at Pirate City, and he looked great. And looking forward to him. That Pirates have a potential like big time sleeper on their hands here with Florentino. I feel like he's my favorite for breakout player of the year in the system.
Well, yeah, and I think Kendrick Herrera was a pretty highly touted international free agent signing too. Because I think they picked up a handful of shortstops, and they actually said that he might be one of the. It might have been John that said he might actually be one of the better of the group.
Yeah. I think I like defense is like he's like a no doubt like shortstop. Like they think he can project long term as shortstop. Really, what it's going to come down to is how much he can hit on there. I saw him take 2, maybe 3 at bats down in Pirate City during spring. I think he walked one, and then he popped up and struck out in the other. Never really saw him make 2 solid contact, but like I said, it's only 3 at bats. He's someone that's interesting, someone that's gonna, and that kind of makes the the infield picture that much more interesting because they have Eddie Renders and Wyatt Sanford too. So that's especially someone like Sanford and Herrera. That's making for a pretty good defensive. A lot of defensive capability there in the lower levels, and I think that's one of the things that maybe a lot of teams lack at times. I think you get a lot of guys who struggle defensively and makes the games longer. So, I think Nola's having fun. So going back to like Florentino, he'll be 18, I believe, most of the year. He hit 5 home runs, stole 8 bases, had 17 extra base hits, and then he also walked more than he struck out last year. So big time approach, great approach, makes a lot of really solid contact. If you're interested in checking him out a little bit more, then go to my YouTube page. I feel like a pretty good amount of at bats from him while I was down there, and so you get a pretty good look, and I got some pretty good views. I think there's some that from his at bat in the spring breakout game. And I full disclosure, I lost Nola here. Oh, he's back in here now. There we go. All right, Nola's back.
Yeah, for some reason my audio went out and wouldn't come back. So
yeah.
Fresh.
I think that kind of made me realize that I don't think I could ever do like a show by myself because like I don't want to listen to myself talk for that long in a row.
Yeah, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah,
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was going in a little bit more in depth on Florentino, and I kind of mentioned like Sanford and Herrera, how they create a pretty good defensive middle infield combination kind of thing. And then Renders is kind of like the wild card there because like he was a little bit of an unknown at the draft, and then I feel like as people started watching what video they could get on him, as people watch video on him, like everyone just kind of like jumping in on the bandwagon as far as like the hype train and looking forward to seeing him play.
Yeah, no, Chris Clegg was a big fan. Talk about him quite a bit.
Yeah. So, and I talked to, speaking of Chris Clegg, he was one of the guys I talked to down in Bradenton, and we were we were watching him, Florentino hit, and he kind of looked at me. He's like, he straight up just kind of said he kind of felt that Florentino could just go straight to Bradenton, and that he didn't feel like he needed the complex. So that'll be interesting to see on how big of an adjustment period there's going to be once the season kind of starts.
Well, then obviously we can't look past Luke Scher too. Speaking
Yes.
of undrafted free agents,
Yes, I definitely want to bring up him.
Kid that they well, I guess we'll say stole away from Cal Poly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, high contact guy. Doesn't hit. Kind of feel like he's a little bit like the opposite end of the spectrum to like Richard Ramirez. Both catchers. Ramirez has a little more power, but a little more swing and miss. Sure, hasn't hit for much power since being pro, but walked almost as much as he struck out. It's put up really good contact rates so far in his career. So, I think he started playing some games in the outfield too towards the end of the year, so trying to get him out on the field more because obviously Ramirez is probably going to demand most of the playing time there. So, interesting to see how they kind of get all of them out there as well.
Which I guess I was going to say, I mean, Scher could get time there because at least from what we know, he would be only the third catcher with also Samuel Escudero there.
Yeah, I guess that's another name too. He was. They acquired him in that trade with the Brewers a couple years ago, right? Kind of feel like it's like forever ago. It's like Troy Stokes, Troy Stokes trade.
Okay,
had a good.
I think it was Troy Stokes Jr. Yeah, I remember it was the Brewers, but
I believe it was Troy Stokes. Had a good year in the Dominican last year, but like he was on the older end. Like he'll be 21. I think he's already 21, going to his first year stateside. So it'll be someone to kind of watch. They're kind of intriguing.
Yeah, at that point, he's probably kind of becoming an organizational guy.
Yeah, probably. And then it's going to be hard to kind of crack playing time behind the plate as it is, and then consider the fact that he's already 21 going into his first stateside season. Hitting side, was there anyone else?
Battle with Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, you're not going to win that.
I guess just in a sense, Estar Suero, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy since. Speaking of trade returns, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. So it'd be nice to see him kind of stay healthy.
Yeah. When I was down there last year, he legged out a triple, and like he was just gliding around the bases. Like once he hit full stride, that had to been one of the quickest like home to thirds I'd ever watched. Like when he was gone, it was just gone. But yeah, some swing and miss still. Just one of those super tooled up guys. Speed, raw power, plays good defense. Just needs to stay healthy, stay on the field. So, yeah. Anyone else on the complex side that you wanted to go through, or is that pretty much it? No? Okay.
Man, I think that's pretty good for the complex league.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. All right. So we'll move on. Wanted to bring up a couple guys on Bradenton. Nola had a good observation on Monday for our weekly feature that we do with that, talking about Hunter Furtado and his velocity increase. Last year, he averaged right around 90 miles an hour with the fastball. Yeah. He's up to about 94, top 97 over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Had a really good week last week. He actually leads the team in strikeouts. And
I mean, when I tried, putting aside the velocity, which he hit 97 a couple of times. He's also throwing a slider and a changeup, and the changeup looks pretty dirty.
The changeup was really good last year on there. That was kind of his like saving grace. The fact that because he walked more people than he struck out last year. So, but the changeup always looked really, really good. Now the fastball is playing up and playing up really well. And, the Pirates love their outlier fastballs, and he throws from a really high slot, so he gets a lot of induced break on the fastball. Doesn't and now it's up to 90. Now it's averaging 94, 95. That's even better.
Yeah. Now, granted, I guess the question is, are they going to stretch him out or just kind of let him be a reliever and just work his way up? But either way, regardless of which direction they go, I mean, it's still intriguing.
Yeah. It doesn't look like they've had any kind of inclination or any thoughts behind trying to make him a starter. He kind of just looks like a 1 or 2 inning guy at most, which is fine. I mean, he could be like a good lefty middle reliever or something like that down the road, especially with like a fastball changeup combination like that. So, Pirates did really well picking out of Alabama that year in the draft. They got Furtado and your boy Garrett McMillan too, who tossed 5 more innings the other night and did well.
Well, the night that we're recording this, 8 Ks?
8 strike. He struck out 5 in a row, I believe, to finish out his start.
And he's not even showing some of the heat he was flashing last year. He's down to 91, 92.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think so. Like, because it was about like 90, 91 and change. I think was like his what he maxed out as. But I think too, some of like those 88, 89s, when I went back and kind of rewatched it, I feel like those were just like his cutters too, because he said he started throwing like a cutter as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a guy that I've really wanted to talk about today as well, since we're on like the topic of Bradenton, was Konnor Griffin, because obviously he's doing really well, wrapped up the week really well, and he's garnering a lot of excitement.
Put him in center field right now in Pittsburgh. Right now.
Can't get any worse, right? That's what the saying is, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, to be fair, like for a guy who just turned 19, like I pulled up some of his numbers. He's right at 40% hard hit rate. The zone contact right at 83%. Still chasing a little bit. 90th percentile exit velocity is like 108.1, which would put him in the top 30 in when we're talking about major league hitters. So someone who just turned 19 is hitting the ball just as hard as major leaguers, full-grown major leaguers. So overall, what's your overall assessment been of him?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess outside of just saying he's him, I'm very excited to see where he goes from here. It feels like there's a lot of reason to be excited, high on him. He's showing, I guess, maturity and advancement for his age. Just the work he put in the offseason is clearly showing through this year so far. He's doing it all. He's doing well defensively. He's hitting the ball, stealing bases. He's pretty much coming as advertised and a little better. So at least for the beginnings of his career, there's a lot of reason to be excited for him. And I don't want to get too far ahead. Yeah, I mean, he's someone that easily could be in Greensboro at some point this year, but I also wouldn't be against just kind of playing the slow role for right now. There's no, I mean, yeah. He's a young kid. There's no reason to push him too much outside of the fact, the Pirates major league team is desperate. But,
yeah,
a lot of reason to be excited.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just going to keep saying excited, I guess.
The amount of times I get a reply about sending him to Altoona or asking if he'll get to Altoona this year, it's created a scenario to where I feel like almost in my head it sounds like I'm being negative with him just because like I feel like I'm the one who's telling people to pump the brakes and stuff like that. It's not really that. It's just like you said, like he's a young kid, kind of just let it play out. And you'd probably say, at least coming into pro ball, that Tamar Johnson probably had a more refined hit tool than like Konnor Griffin. Like,
well, theoretically.
Theoretically. Hit tool and like the power and the raw power that Konnor's showing, that's different than like polish with like the hitting and the approach and the at bats. And it took Tamar almost 400 plate appearances to go from Bradenton to Greensboro. So I like right now I would expect about the same form. So I'd expect like a couple weeks stint in Greensboro. He like the tools is there. I mean, it's hard to watch him and not see it. Like he hits the ball like as hard as grown adults do, and he runs like the wind. He's putting up 80 grade run times. He's playing great defense at both positions. Like I feel like the little bit I've seen, it's been smooth and the strong arm, and it's looked good at short. It's natural as hell in center field. Like I would feel at this point,
which and then that catch he made in spring training,
insane. I feel like I would be comfortable with him just not playing center field. And then just down the road one day, just be like, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to play center field again. And
but yeah, I will say he is.
I think we're on a little bit of a delay. But yeah,
possibly, I think so. My internet is being dookie right now.
I think you're approaching Cody territory here.
Yeah. But I'm gonna have to put in a call to my IP tomorrow.
I think that the point is Konnor Griffin, really good. He's really good, but let's be patient with it. He's mashing fastballs. Like I think he was slugging like 850 against fastballs last time I checked. Not really going well with everything else. So just give it time. Let him master it. It's going to be frustrating to see him sit in Bradenton because they're going to miss on a fastball and he's going to crush it. And then everyone's going to be like, just send him up. But you don't see the other at-bats or the pitches before to where it's not like he's terrible against them. It's just a matter of learning how to square up and that kind of stuff with it. So.
Patience. We need to be, unfortunately, patient because I don't know if rushing is the right word for, some of the shortcomings that they've been through and been having. But I would say patience is key to make sure they get this one right.
Yep. Everyone wants him to be that superstar and that franchise changer. Then let him work to become that. Be patient with it and let it come because it'll come.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. He could be in Altoona by the time he's 20, but if it happens, it happens. But let him be the proponent of his trajectory.
Exactly. I think one last guy I wanted to talk about real quick down in Bradenton, who is, I think everyone kind of was hoping that he'd kind of take that step forward and look like he has so far. Axiel Plaz, his zone contact rate is up in the 80s now, which I think it was like low 70s last year. So that's a pretty good step forward. Still chasing a lot, but like the whiff and the zone contact is what has improved a lot. And
I mean, unfortunately, he's not hitting a home run every like half at bats, but we'll take the contact.
Which it'll come because his 90th percentile exit velocity is 109. So higher than Griffin's. That's would put him in the top 15 in baseball, in Major League Baseball. His xWOBA is 371. He's a hard hit rate right at 60%. So he's still destroying the baseball. It's kind of the things like he's focusing on making more contact, it seems, obviously. So maybe the power isn't there, but the power is still there. So it'll only be a matter of time before he takes this approach and is able to like.
He's also 19.
Do that. Yeah, he's 19. Which is great. Which puts in even more perspective what he did last year. I don't think it could be spoken enough last year to where he was basically an emergency call up to Bradenton. They only had Omar Alfonso healthy at catcher, so he was not playing well in the complex league whenever he got called up. He got called up and then just hit 15 home runs in I think 75 games.
Yeah, he just was hitting bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. It was ridiculous.
At 18, he was doing it at 18. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Now he's 19. He's making better contact. And the one thing you're always worried about with these kind of hitters when they make better contact is like, is he sacrificing power? Or how much sacrificing power is he doing? And while he's not hitting home runs at the same rate he was last year, the ball is traveling off his bat just as hard, if not harder. So, yeah. Did you have anyone else you wanted to talk about?
No, that's probably good for this week.
Good for this week. Okay. All right. Well, I
think interested.
I'd say we go ahead and start winding down. I know you actually had some NOLA knowledge written down for us this week.
Yeah. I guess just kind of short and quick. Was just I wanted to shout out our buddy Cody, formerly Patenko, now Cody Weber, for a new career change. He said he's going well. Everything's good with him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. Proud of him.
Very happy.
He hits it. Here's this.
Yeah, super happy for him. Like he.
I mean, really.
He started this all. I still give him all the credit for starting this because I listened to what was it back then? It was like Pirates Unrestricted, I think.
Yeah, I got a mug or T-shirt somewhere from that.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it was, and I mean he's pretty much the reason that brought the trio together, and really all over a love of Travis Swaggerty, which I guess low key shout out to Corey too, because he's another swaggy lover.
Yeah, yes, he is. People with a fine taste. We all came together. But it's always fun to think of it because I first listened to one of his podcasts when I was at T-Mobile, and I had to go to work to do like inventory check. So I said, I'm gonna listen to a Pirates podcast. And I was kind of scrolling through. I've always been a little bit fan of the prospects. So I found it, listened to it, really good. He's hyping up Endy Rodriguez all day long. So shot him a message, be like, hey man, I loved your work. Got me started writing a little bit more about the baseball and prospects and stuff like that again. And then here we are. So
we're go Cody.
Go Cody.
We're gonna
Cody,
make
we're
him come
proud of
on one of these weeks. We're gonna force him.
That's fair. And we're gonna have a test of who has worst internet, you or him now. Which he
I was just gonna say, so I only have to be the second worst internet.
But on that note, so we're gonna close it out here. Nola, where can they find you on social media stuff? And then I'll go ahead and close it out.
At Nola Jeffy, NOLAJEFFY. For when that comes through.
Yeah, for when it comes through, and he'll randomly come up with his one random observation late in the week after we're close to finishing up, and then that's his contribution to the site.
I have to count. I'm like, how many are there? There's still space for me.
But as always, follow me on Twitter at @double_Murphy88. Bucks on deck. Check out the YouTube page, which I'll put the link in the bio again for this, because I just uploaded almost 30 videos today of my Greensboro trip, which my phone is feeling nice and clean and light because I finally was able to delete them off there. I'll be in Bradenton next week, so look out. There'll be plenty of videos from the Complex League and the Marauders and whatnot. DK Pittsburgh Sports. I just sent in my next Baseball America article. I don't know when that'll be out, but that'll be out eventually. That was a fun one. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.